most of the establishment that happened with Red Velvet in front of our eyes happened at Daly's place with no fans. And so I want to know a lot about what that transition was like for you to go from working in front of really just your peers at ringside to all of a sudden now I'm going on the road, and this is something that I wasn't doing before. Like a lot of those guys were resuming their lives on the road. You were just beginning your life on the road when Road Rager happened last year.
Yes.
What was that transition like for you?
Transition was pretty good. I don't think I'm not someone who's primarily afraid of crowds. I welcome them. I think being in Daly's place with no crowd at the time was the perfect time for me to be there to learn how and what it really means to work for television. Because anyone who comes from the indies, they learn how to work, but learning how to work for television and for a wider audience and just not the audience that's in the crowd, but the audience at home. I think being there during the dark tapings without fans was a good icebreaker. It helps you get comfortable, helps you learn things, and then there's still time to fix certain things that you can't really do live. But it's a perfect prep for live television on the road as well. So to me, the pandemic was a terrible time just for everyone health-wise, but for wrestlers and myself included, it was possibly the best thing that happened to me, because now when we're on the road, I think it's harder for people who aren't signed to get looked at deeply by the people in the office, because it's every other city, and how much are you going to go to the next town and the next town before they really get a good eye on you. We were stationed one place, so I was able to get myself there every time they needed me for the pandemic went on for almost like a year that we were in Daly's place, maybe a little bit more. So I think it was a great transition and just what I needed to prepare myself to be on live television and on the road. The road is completely different, obviously, because everyone is there. There's no all right, we need to stop and this and that. There's no, the lights are on, you got to go live. Anything can happen. Television time is very specific timing. So it was definitely, I think, a good warm up to get on the road. And I'm grateful that I was able to come into AEW during the time of the pandemic, because I'm not sure if I'd be in AEW if I wasn't there during the pandemic, because I just think it's harder for upcoming talent to get looked at frequently on the road, unless you're pitching in to buy yourself a flight to get there to every city. Or we're in a different city every week, so it becomes a little harder.